Going to be a tutorial on how to do a Sweet Mystery 1 for SMG 200%. It's this star, in case you don't know what that means. So similarly to Bowser Jr.'s Fearsome Fleet, this level is basically all one height, and you get Yoshi right at the very start, so infinite flutters can be heavily abused here. If you don't know how to infinite flutter, I strongly suggest learning so. Infinite flutters in this stage are mostly used to cross large distances in small periods of time. Let's see how this, I'll try and show off the best ways to do this for RTA. So once you start, you're going to get on Yoshi, and as soon as you get on Yoshi, you're going to start infinite fluttering. And the goal is to get from here all the way over around there, because can't really see it here because draw distance, but the comet medal's over here, and that's where you want to go first. So by the way, this is specifically for any percent. If you do an IL, this is going to be different. How you do this flutter, it really comes down to whether or not you want to change the camera to give yourself a better angle. So if you're going to change your camera, which I would suggest doing as a beginner because it's easier to judge, you're going to want to face directly right. And you're going to infinite flutter, and you're going to want to hold an angle that's like slightly between the up and up left notches. So not entirely up left, but also not straight up. And you're going to try to do a jump, and you're going to do a shake, and you're going to try to go back a little bit, and you're just going to keep infinite fluttering. If you do this camera setup for the first flutter, though, there is going to be a camera change midway through, so you're going to have to switch from holding up left to around straight right after the camera change. And again, you want to make sure you're not holding in the direction Yoshi's facing. Otherwise, that'll be very bad. And also, around when the camera changes, there's going to be a bulb berry that you pass by. That's going to be, usually it's going to be slightly behind you. You want to grab that with Yoshi's tongue mid-flutter. This is extremely hard to time. So I would definitely practice this first flutter a lot, because you need that bulb berry to eliminate the platforms underneath you, otherwise they don't exist. So the flutter will look a little something like this. And this is actually a decent angle, so I should be able to make it all the way over to the comet medal. And then again, once the camera changes, you're going to kind of switch from holding. You're going to kind of switch from holding between the up and up left notches to in between the around between the right and upright notches. And if you do it right, you should be able to go all the way over to that comet medal platform. If you want to stop short, that's fine. Then you can just do short jumps across the platforms to get to the comet medal. So if you're going to do it without the camera change, you're just going to jump as soon as you get on Yoshi, and this time you're going to hold an angle against just ever so slightly up of straight right. After a while, though, if you notice that your angle is good, you should be able to switch to direct straight right. And this, you don't have to change your angle at all, but it's a lot harder to see what you're doing. It's a lot harder to see like if you have a good angle or not at first, so which way you want to do it at first really comes down to personal preference. This is slightly more optimal, but if you don't feel safe, and also if you would rather just cut your flutter short than try to go all the way to the comet medal, doing the first setup I used for this is fine as well. Okay, so that's actually a really bad angle because I didn't go far back enough. You want to barely start going back, but not so barely, and also you don't want to look like you're just going straight right, so like, this is pretty decent. I accidentally held straight right a little bit there. And again, you can just infinite flutter all the way over here. So as is the standard for infinite fluttering like this, you don't want to be holding in the direction that Yoshi's facing, which is why it's not really a good idea to try holding straight right in this flutter unless you know it's going to be okay. So just continue holding this angle. And try to get a decent amount of height from each infinite flutter. Alright. Again, this is a very tricky flutter. I would recommend practicing this a lot. I'm going to try to show a flutter that's pretty far back so that I can show you that you can just cut your flutter a bit short. Although this is actually looking like a pretty decent angle. Alright, so this is a little far back, so you can just cut your flutter short there and then double jump. You can do double tapping A across those gaps, because that makes Yoshi do short flutters and you land on the ground sooner. So once you get to the Kama Metal, you're just going to want to jump, shake, and just hold directly up, and then start fluttering. And then once the camera changes, hold up left. This is actually a really easy flutter. And then once you land on this platform over here, you're going to want to reorient Yoshi so that now he's going to be facing straight right. Jump, do a shake, and then start infinite fluttering. At first, kind of try to go back a little bit, and then start just infinite fluttering with a slight up left angle. So like this. If you can, grab this checkpoint with Yoshi's tongue. Alright, so this is actually a really bad angle. This is too far forward. Optimally, you're going to want to land on this platform over here with that flutter. Okay, so you want the camera like this for this last flutter. This is one of the bigger flutters. I would recommend learning it for this level because normally what you're supposed to do in this section is use the Bullberry, and you're going to hit all these flip switches, and you make a launch start here, and you use that to go to that planet over there. You can actually skip that launch start by infinite fluttering over here. This flutter is actually kind of risky for reasons I'll explain later. So what I do for this, there are several setups people use for this. What I do is I face straight left, side flip facing straight right, grab this Bullberry because you don't have to have the Bullberry for this flutter, but it makes the floors underneath you solid, so it kind of has a safety net attached to it, and I would highly recommend having that because if you're not going to directly flutter into the star, then this just allows you to get to the star easier. I also don't shake when I do this flutter because you want to get side flipping without shaking allows you to get more height out of each infinite flutter. So you can do that with this method, and it makes it easier to reach the star. So again, side flip facing straight right, grab that Bullberry, and then hold like once again another angle that's like between the left and up left notches, and then once the camera changes, switch to directly up. And if you do it correctly, you should land on this platform. And you can just jump into the star, or you can just flutter directly into the star. It doesn't matter. So, I'm going to kind of do one more little run through of the level now. And I'm also going to show off one thing that can happen at the very end. It doesn't matter if you watch the cutscenes or not, so if you're going to practice this level, you can skip them, it's fine. Alright, so this flutter is probably going to be pretty far back. So I'm going to probably have to cut it a little bit short. Yeah, it was really far back. It's really hard to get a flutter that goes all the way over the middle. Again, for that flutter, just hold up, and then once the camera changes, hold up left. Just holding notch angles. And once you land on this platform, face straight right, and start infinite fluttering back, and then hold up left for like the first portion of the flutter. Try to grab this checkpoint if you can. And then for this flutter, just side flip facing straight right. And then hold the angle between up and up left. And then switch to up. And then if you have the flutter slowly a little bit to land on the top, you can, and then you would just grab the star. Okay, so this is actually something I want to show off. So if you do a flutter that skips the last launch star, and you fall during the flutter, then you'll land on this invisible floor over here, because it actually unloads the kill plane. So if this happens to you, you're going to want to dismount off of Yoshi and just continue long jumping in this direction. And eventually, you should fall off something, and then just ground pound. And after a few seconds, you'll die. And if you get the checkpoint, then you'll just spawn back here, and then you could get on Yoshi, infinite flutter this direction. And then try that flutter again. So this is what that would look like. So let's say you are doing the flutter, and then let's say all of a sudden you accidentally press Z and A at the same time. Like that. Just ground pound. And then you land on this floor. And then just continue long jumping forwards. It might take a little while to find the floor that you can fall off of. And then you can just ground pound and then die. So that's kind of the backup strat. If you didn't grab the checkpoint, though, you will be sent all the way back to the beginning of the level. That's probably still faster than just... that's probably still faster than just causing an exiting double. So I'll show off that last flutter one more time, and then I'll actually collect the star. there you go. So I hope that tutorial for this level was good enough for you to be able to use. So if you have any questions, just make sure to ask me, and I will try to answer them to the best of my ability. And I hope this tutorial helps you. Thank you for watching.